For today, we're playing the finals with the RTX 3050, and we'll start it off at 1080p at the Epic preset with no RT. Here we go with that. There we go. Cool. Here we go. Alright, so far in the mid to high 50s and even the low 50s, I'm glad I disabled RT because you can barely get 60 FPS as is. So just imagine having RT enabled as well. Okay, in this section, doing decent in the 60s and the 70s. It's feeling quite good. And for our VRAM, we are sitting at 4.3 gigs. And system RAM at 15 gigs. So quite good all around, to be honest. Oh, hello. There we go, first kill of the video. I'm pretty rusty. I haven't played too much of this game, to be honest. Last time was with the RTX 3080, I think. During Christmas time. So, I'm gonna be rusty. We'll try and make it work. Oh, he's close to death. I'm gonna hide behind here. Our teammate has left, so it's a 2v3v3. Great. What's this? I forgot. No, behind me. Assist him, nice. I want to get away from him. Yeah, what's up, buddy? What are you doing? Oh man, my aim is so bad. Wow, major stutters. That was very laggy. So yeah, so far, at the Epic preset with no RT, the game is playable somewhat. You can get 60 FPS, but at the same time, it can fall down into the 50s, and the game can stutter as well in this heavier scene. So I think realistically for this card, I would avoid the Epic preset. We could use DLSS actually, and get the FPS back. Nice, we got a kill. Stop it. So apparently we're getting an RTX 3050, but with 6 gigs of VRAM. That's coming out soon, I believe. It's pretty weird because I think this card has the right amount of VRAM, to be honest. Having 6 gigs, I think, is too little. But if it's the right price, it might still be a decent card. But I doubt it, to be honest. I think it's going to be a bit too overpriced for what you get. It's like low VRAM, low power. Like, what's the point? So I think buying an RTX 3060, for example, used, it should be the same price or similar price. And you get more VRAM and more power. But some people are scared of buying used, so... Wow, that is laggy. The high 40s there, guys. Insanely laggy. I'm dead here. Yep, I had no health. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think the 3050 already is not the most popular card out there, because there's better choice, obviously, at this point. I think in 2021, it was a decent card to buy. It was the right price, and everything was getting scalped and was out of stock. So it made sense. But at this point, every card is in stock. Every card is cheap. Well, not every card, but, you know, there's a lot of choice. So I'm not sure why you would want to buy a 3050. Regardless, guys, again, the FPS goes from the high 40s and on average sitting in the high 50s and the low 60s. So it's not very consistent, sadly, but it can be playable for you if you like the graphics, obviously. But again, realistically, for this card, I would go for a mix of probably medium and low if you don't like DLSS. But if you do like DLSS, then probably the higher presets, like high. So yeah. Let's pause it here, guys, enable DLSS, and go from there. And for DLSS, let's use the quality preset. Cool, now with quality DLSS, wow. Look at the FPS there. We are sitting in the 90s and the 100s. We are indoors, so let's go outside and see how we fare there. But it should be pretty decent. And for the graphics, it's quite sharp, it looks quite good. A bit grainy in my opinion, but like overall, it is quite decent still and definitely usable. Get tagged up, bud. Oh, I'm so dead here. They're all... Yep. So yeah, if you don't mind DLSS, then obviously playing at Ultra is playable, surprisingly. I'm quite shocked, actually. We gained, what? Like 40 FPS on average? I guess 30 FPS on average. So yeah, overall, the Epic preset, without DLSS, the game is inconsistent. Again, falling into the high 40s. And on average, sitting in the high 50s and the 60s. For a game like this, I wouldn't use it. But if you don't mind DLSS, then obviously it does much better. Time for the high settings. Here we are with that. There we go. And no RT and no DLSS. So going from the Epic preset to the high preset, we gained what? Like around 10 FPS. It is a different map, which will affect the FPS obviously, but it shouldn't be too different, to be honest. Is the game playable? So far, yeah, but like, to be honest, it's not the smoothest. Like, the aiming isn't as fluid as before, for example, with DLSS active. Whoa, I'm getting stunned. Yeah, sadly the game is still stuttering. It isn't the smoothest, unfortunately. But FPS wise, obviously above 60. And now with DLSS active, wow. In the 110s and the 120s so far, okay. And the aiming feels way better. Far more fluid and far more responsive. But again, keep in mind that this game is very CPU dependent, so your FPS might be lower than this. Help me. Please. I don't know how I killed all three, but I'll take it. So yeah, I think for me, I would keep DLSS enabled at all times. The game looks good, and it gives us a nice little FPS bump at those higher presets. And now time for the lowest settings. Here we are with that. There we go. There we go. Lowest settings. We are sitting at 100 FPS up to 110 FPS. So the same as the high settings, but with DLSS active. And to be honest, the game looks quite a bit worse. So for me, I don't really see a point in playing at the low settings. The game looks worse, and FPS wise, it's the same as DLSS at a higher preset. But regardless, we'll play for a bit longer, and then I'll enable DLSS as well. And we can see the max performance of this CPU in this game. Wow, what a bad spawn. I'm stuck in here, I think. There we go. Ooh! The FPS dip into the 50s for a second. What was that? Okay, that stun ability is pretty annoying. I can't scope in. I can't move. Really? So I'm just dead, pretty much. Time for DLSS. Let's see what we can do. Wow. So far, in the 170s, that's kind of cracked. 170 to 160 FPS. Okay, so if all you care about is FPS and your CPU can handle it, then playing at the lowest settings with DLSS kind of makes sense. And lastly, time for the optimal settings. Here we are with that. It's a mix of medium and low settings. There we go. And lastly, at the optimal settings, look at that. We are sitting in the 130s up into the 150s. So we're sitting in between the lowest settings and I guess the high settings. So again, at the lowest settings, we had around 170 FPS slash 160. And at the high settings with DLSS, we had like 110, I believe. So right here, we're in the 130s and the 140s, so a bit higher. And yeah, the game looks nice and plays nicely as well. So yeah, if you're happy with around 130 to 140 FPS, then use this. But if you must get 170 plus, then obviously go with the lowest settings with DLSS. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time for the next video. See you guys there.